Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ryleigh. If you did not know, now you know, and welcome. I'm so happy you're here. So when I was on my little YouTube hiatus, I got married. Yes, your girl did indeed get hitched. Believe it or not, being a bride was honestly the best experience of my life. It is so fun. It is so special because you are marrying the love of your life, but you also get to plan this wedding that you have dreamt of ever since you were a little girl. I don't know about you, but I had a Pinterest wedding board since I was probably 8 years old. Did I use any of that inspo from when I was 8? Absolutely not, but your girl, she's just been so excited to have a wedding from the day she was this tall. But one thing I did not realize with wedding planning was how stressful it is. My older sister got married about 5 years ago, and I remember her being a little stressed with some things, but she loves planning and all the things. She's just really good at putting things together. So obviously she wasn't that stressed, but when it came to me, I was absolutely bridezilla. All right, I was having a mental breakdown left and right. There were just so many moving parts to planning a wedding that I did not understand. And your girl was unwell, okay? Best experience of my life. So fun, but also very stressful. So I'm here to help you, and I'm going to tell you some things that I wish I knew before I got married because I think they are very, very helpful. And if you're watching this, you are probably a soon-to-be bride. So let me first just say congratulations. I'm so happy and excited for you. Your bridal era is the best era ever, I promise. Even though I said all that stuff about me being bridezilla, it is the best. Anyways, let's just get into all the tips and tricks, shall we? Let's start off strong with the first one on the list. I think all of these are very important, but this one especially, and it is to use your voice. I used to be very passive, not as much anymore. It's just because I'm a people pleaser and I don't want people to ever view me as a mean person, or in this case, a bridezilla. And I actually kind of bit myself in the butt with that because I did not use my voice when it came to multiple different circumstances when we were planning our wedding. I'm going to use my wedding dress as an example. I was promised my wedding dress was going to come a certain way. It was going to come with the sleeves like about here. Because here's the thing, this is backstory that probably doesn't even matter, but I'm gonna give it to you anyways. My dress, it was either long sleeve or strapless. I did not like either on me, okay? So we kind of put this overlay lace thing over the strapless dress to give the illusion of what I wanted. Obviously I was obsessed with it, but the sleeves were supposed to come here, not here, okay? Well, I was promised it was gonna come like this, and it came like a full-on muscle tank. It looked like your girl was about to go run a mile at the gym, okay? Did not love that. And when I put the dress on, I was surrounded by all the employees and they're telling me how beautiful I looked, and I felt bad and I didn't say anything, that I was very unhappy with the dress. And what do you know? I just made my life so much harder because I had to go through the process of getting alterations done to make the sleeves the way I wanted. It was this whole thing. But if I just would have used my voice in the first place, I maybe wouldn't have had to experience all of that stress. So that is just a little example of how important it is to use your voice. It does not make you mean, ladies. Okay, if you're anything like me, you're just a people pleaser and you want people to think you're nice. And here's the thing, you can be nice, but you can be direct. One thing that my mom has always told me is clear is kind. So if you're being clear and communicating, saying like, hey, this is not what I want, or hey, I want it a different way, that actually is the best thing you can do for yourself, and it shows people that you have respect for yourself. So use your voice. Planning a wedding is so stressful and you're going to get so many opinions. That's another thing. You will get opinions that you don't even ask for sometimes from people. So you just have to do your best at letting it go in through one ear, out the other. Obviously, if you're asking for someone's opinion, great, but you will get those unasked for opinions, and you just need to communicate and use your voice and be like, oh my gosh, that is such a great idea, but we're going with this idea instead, and it will make your life so much easier. And if anyone gives you backlash, just call me up, I'll be mean to them for you, and your day's gonna be perfect, all right? When you are getting overwhelmed with all the different decisions and all the different opinions, you just have to remember that it is you and your husband's special day, and what you want and what he wants is what matters. The next thing on my list is to set a budget. I'm sure this is pretty obvious, but my husband and I weren't given an exact budget, and it made things a little bit more expensive than we would have liked, and I'm sure our parents would have liked as well. I do think that it's important to have a little bit of wiggle room with your budget because sometimes things just add up so quick and things get expensive so fast. So if you're like, okay, I'm okay if we go 500 over or 1,000 over or 20 bucks over, whatever that number is, you're not going to feel guilty that you went a little bit over, because you guys, planning a wedding is so expensive. But I am a firm believer that you can have your wedding as budget friendly as you want. There is a plethora of things that you can do for your wedding to make it budget friendly. For example, my husband and I did not spend a ton of money on our cake. Our cake was a 2-tiered white simple cake from Sam's Club. We slapped a little bow on it, it looked beautiful, and that was that. I did not care to spend hundreds or thousands on an expensive cake just to save the top tier in the freezer for a year and then eat it and it has freezer burn. That just did not sound appealing to me at all. I just did not really give a rip about the cake, if I'm being so honest. And even when we cut into the cake, we were both like, you know, trying to cut into it. It was difficult. And we only got like a big chunk of frosting. So imagine if I spent hundreds of dollars on a cake and I couldn't even eat it because I only got the frosting. Another thing to make things cheaper is to DIY things you want at your wedding. It is so much more inexpensive than buying or renting. You can go to the dollar store, you can get vases, you can get frames, you can literally get anything for so cheap and use your talents to make it pretty for your wedding day. I don't think you need to break the bank in that department at all. Another thing that can help you be a little bit more budget friendly with your wedding is more greenery and less flowers. I was flabbergasted at how expensive flowers were for a wedding. It made me want to throw up. So I made the decision to go with more greenery rather than flowers because it was less expensive. Obviously, anything for a wedding is so stinking expensive, but it was a lot more affordable for us. Our wedding vibe / theme was a classy boho, so the greenery fit in perfectly. All of my bridesmaids had greenery bouquets, which put down the cost with flowers a ton as well. Those are just a few things we did to cut the cost in some areas for our wedding. I am a firm believer that you can have a beautiful wedding no matter what your budget is. So I just recommend setting a budget with your parents or you and your fiance, whoever is helping pay for the wedding, and be as budget friendly as you can. Just sit down and actually map things out. I think that will be very, very helpful for your wedding. Let's take a second to talk about your save the dates and your wedding invites. Okay, this may be common knowledge, but for me, I had a terrible experience with sending out my wedding invites because we did wax seals on the invite. They looked absolutely stunning, the prettiest invites ever, but the wax seal made the envelope not flat, so we had to pay more for postage to send them out. It was honestly such a hot mess. Like, I put normal postage on my invites and I sent them off. They got returned. A big bucket got returned on my front porch of all the invites. And they're like, hey, you don't have enough postage. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I didn't know about that. Maybe that's common knowledge. I just did not. I remember just looking at my invites on the porch, wanting to bawl my eyes out because I was like, that took so much work. And now there is a big stamp on these envelopes saying not enough postage. It was terrible. Just be smart. Take your invites into UPS, USPS, wherever you ship your mail, okay, and say, hey, how much postage do I need for this? That way your envelopes can stay really pretty. If you do not want to pay extra for postage, I highly recommend you don't do anything in your invite that will add bulkiness to the envelope, if that makes sense. Like I said, that might be common knowledge, but your girl did not know that, and it caused her a mental breakdown, so I'm trying to save you from that. This next one is probably pretty obvious, but it might not be to some people, so I do feel the need to share it. Make sure you get your trial runs done. I'm talking for your hair, your makeup, your spray tan, anything to do with your appearance, because the last thing you want to worry about on your wedding day is how you look. I got very lucky. My older sister is a makeup artist, and she understands my face so well, so I really like how she does my makeup, but we were actually able to do, I think, 3 trial runs before my actual wedding day, and each time we did a trial we tweaked something so my makeup was perfect for my wedding day. But when it came to my hair, I didn't get a trial done before bridals. My husband and I took bridals before we actually got married. I think it was like a month before, and we traveled away from home to do that. So I just picked a hairstylist in that area that I never worked with before, and she did my hair the exact way I thought I wanted it, but I hated the way it looked in pictures. She did a beautiful job. I just did not like the way that hairstyle looked on me. So when I got home, I made a trial with the girl who's doing my hair for my wedding day, and we moved my bun a little bit higher. I was absolutely obsessed with it, and I wish I did that before we took bridals, because now I just don't like my hair in the bridals, but I did love it for the wedding day. So that is just an example of showing how important it is to do a trial, because maybe you think you want your hair in an updo, and then you do it and you hate it, and you decide to have it down. So it just gives you time to tweak things about your appearance. The next one on my list, I truly cannot recommend enough, and it is to get a wedding planner. At first, I was so against getting a planner because I thought it was just unnecessary. I thought it was just more money you're spending, and anything a planner could do, I could do, or on the day of my family could do. But boy, was I wrong, because my planner was the most angelic, in tune, caring human ever, and she made our day just so special. She also kept me on track with planning, because obviously a planner does so much, but I still, as the bride, have to do some things. So she just helped my ADHD self stay on track, which I really appreciated. But she also was in communication with her vendors. She helped us with prints for the invites. She did day of coordination. She set up the whole venue, which was truly so nice. At first, I thought my family, my husband's family, could just set up the venue, but once I walked into that venue and I saw how perfect it was on our wedding day, I was like, this was the best decision ever. I think it is so important that if you do get a planner, you work with someone who really listens to what you want in your vision and wants to make it as special as it can be. Obviously, do I think that a planner is absolutely necessary to have a beautiful wedding and a special day? Absolutely not. I think that you can find someone in your life that you trust tremendously and delegate stuff to them so they can help you with the planning or on the wedding day. A planner doesn't have to be an official planner with the title. It can be someone in your life who can really help you. Ladies, this next one is one of the most important ones, and I truly mean that. You need to be extremely picky with your vendors. I understand having a budget, but you need to work with people that are very kind, very attentive, because vendors either make or break your wedding day. We had some amazing vendors on our wedding day. I use our DJ as an example. He just truly is the salt of the earth. He made our reception so fun, so amazing, but I also spoke with him on the phone before, and he made me just feel so good about our wedding day overall. He was just so perfect. But we did have some vendors that I wasn't the biggest fan of in the end. I'm not going to be very specific, but what I will say is you need to be so picky with your videographer and photographer, okay? Because at the end of the day, what you get to take with you from your wedding day is those videos and those pictures, and you want to absolutely love them. I highly suggest that you reach out to brides that you have seen use vendors and ask what their experience was, because they are going to be so honest with you. I didn't do that, and I actually really regret it. I had a bride reach out to me probably a few months ago asking what my experience was with one of my vendors, and I was honest with her, told her the truth, and she responded and was like, you know what, I've reached out to some other people and they've told me the exact same thing, so thank you for being honest. So if I would have done that for that specific vendor, my life and wedding maybe would have been much easier. So don't be afraid to be picky. I understand having a budget, but make sure that you are choosing what you really want and not just because it's affordable. Like I have mentioned multiple times, planning a wedding is so stressful, but I didn't understand how much that stress would affect me mentally. I was very busy while wedding planning. I was in school, I was working, I was doing an internship, all on top of wedding planning. I was also dealing with health problems, so that just was a whole nother story, and I let myself get burnt out, and I did not give myself enough grace for what I was experiencing. Planning a wedding already is a full-time job, and I think people need to understand that it can be a lot on you mentally, because you have to make so many decisions, and at the end of the day you're making so many decisions and you're just like, am I even liking what I am choosing? It's just a lot. So I highly suggest that you give yourself grace, because that's one thing I really regret not doing. I was just kind of mean to myself. I wasn't taking the best care of myself. I just felt so much pressure to show up and be this perfect bride that I wasn't really doing what my body and mind needed. I would see all these videos of girls getting ready for their wedding day by doing a certain diet, by working out, by doing all these certain things, and if I wasn't doing that, I felt guilty. I tried to stay up with that. I tried to eat better. I tried to stick to a strict workout plan, but at the end of the day, I wasn't feeling good about myself, and it's really because I wasn't taking care of my mental health. What I really needed was to sit down with my fiance and just watch a movie and do absolutely nothing. I wanted to go out to dinner with my family and not talk about wedding plans for a second. I just wanted to be more present, because that is actually what would have helped me with the wedding planning. I think it's so important to be present and actually enjoy where you are, because if you're just so focused on the wedding day and I have to take care of myself a certain way, you're just going to feel more stress and more guilt. So, I mean, maybe that works for you. It personally did not work for me. I just suggest you take care of yourself in a way that feels best for you. The next thing on my list is to let go of control on your wedding day. Obviously, you have a lot of control when it comes to wedding planning, right? You're making all the decisions, you're doing all the plans, but when it comes to your wedding day, I hate to say it, but not everything is going to go as planned. I had people tell me that before my wedding day, so I set someone as the designated mess person, if you will. So if there was a problem, go talk to my mom or go talk to my planner about it. I do not want to let it get back to me, all right? And obviously, even though I didn't think anything would go wrong, there were things that went wrong, okay? We had a makeup artist not show up, my content creator was hours late, my wedding bouquet was not the same colors as it was for my bridals, and I was upset about that, but I was in control of how I reacted to that. If I reacted poorly and let it ruin my day, that was my fault. But if I just laughed at it and was like, oh well, who cares? I was still able to have a good day. And I'm so grateful that I did that, because I probably could have ruined our wedding day if I was just so upset about these little things that did not go right. But just let go of that control, because you're still going to have a special day. Your day is going to be the way it's supposed to be. And what you can do is just enjoy it. If something doesn't go as planned, just laugh about it. There are ways to navigate and pivot during your wedding day if things aren't what you really wanted them to be. And like I said, set someone as your designated person that people can go to if there is a problem, because you do not want anyone communicating anything poorly with you on your wedding day. Let other people handle it. And the last thing I have on my list is for you to remember that it is your day. It is your day to celebrate you and your husband and the start of your beautiful life together. I know that planning a wedding and the day of can be very overwhelming, but you have to remember what matters. Why are you getting married? Why are you planning this wedding? It's to spend the rest of your life with the person that you love so much. And it's such a beautiful thing. So remember that, even when life gets loud and your to-do list gets so long, because when you get married, there's a lot of things you have to do outside of planning a wedding, and it can get stressful. So just remember the reason for the season, if you will. That sounds so cheesy, but you get what I'm saying. Your wedding day comes and goes so fast, and I know that firsthand. I remember when my husband and I were engaged, I was counting down the days until our wedding day, and it felt so far away. But now here I am, 9 months married, and I feel like we were just engaged and just waiting for our wedding day to happen, and it just really goes by with the blink of an eye. And you are never going to get this day back. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. It's so special. So remember that. This is your time to celebrate you and your husband, surrounded by so many people. One thing that I didn't really realize until our wedding day was that all the people that are there are probably never going to be in the same room together again. The reason why all these people are gathered together is because they are there to celebrate you and the love of your life, and it is truly the most special thing ever. So just remember that when you are in the trenches of wedding planning, remember that it is going to be the most special day, and all of it is going to be worth it. I truly mean that. And trust me, I know firsthand. I was going through mental breakdowns left and right, but then the day of our wedding, it was the most beautiful and special thing, and I would not have had it any other way. All right, ladies, those are all of the things that I wish I knew before planning my wedding. I know these things are a bit more broad, so if you want a video where I go more in depth about tips and tricks and advice and all the things, let me know. I would be more than happy to do one. That is the end of my video. If you liked this video, do not forget to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, and turn on post notifications so you do not miss a video. I post every single week, and you don't want to miss out. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Bye!